Missed an episode of your favorite podcast? Choose from over a decade of content in our archives, not just the latest episode. All free at GCNlive.com.
This is your call to action. Get prepared, America. Economy, survival, energy, disasters. This is USAPrepares.com. Informative radio, educational radio. Interact now by emailing instructor@USAPrepares.com or text at 434-390-7953. Class, please take your seats. Now, your instructor, Vincent Finelli.
Cocked, locked, here we go. Your dial set correctly to USAPrepares.com. We're delighted you're here. And we broadcast 2 hours from high atop the Missouri Ozark Mountains. If you'd like to call us, 866-582-9933, 866-582-9933. If you'd like to listen as you travel, 605-477-3249. 605-477-3249. John is engineering the broadcast in Minnesota. Dr. Norman Shealy's with us. Welcome, Dr. Shealy.
Hello, Vince. It's been a while.
Dr. Shealy, it's so good to hear your voice. And are you blissed?
I am blessed, especially when you're here.
Yeah, thanks for filling in with Dr. Sergey Sorin last week. I really appreciate that. Dr. Shealy, as you know, I had a little bit of surgery, and they said before surgery, they say, when you're meeting with your surgeon, or at least this is what happened to me. There'll be some slight discomfort. Just slight discomfort, and you'll be able and you'll be able to be on the radio, next day, no problem. Everything, no problem. So that's what I was expecting.
Like sitting on a red hot poker.
yeah, that's it. And just clearing my throat right after that surgery was really painful, and just a slight cough. Oh my gosh, excruciating pain. And Ed Marvini came over, and this was days after, and he said something that made me laugh. And oh man, everything was great until he did that.
But isn't he a neat guy?
Absolutely. He's like Hulk Hogan. I mean, he's built like Hulk Hogan. He's a really, really powerful guy.
Oh yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful man. And so he. I know he visited you and spent some time with you, and then came over here to the farm, spent some time with us, and came back to your place.
I'm impressed. He is taking over all of our websites.
Makes sense to me. Did I ever tell you how I met Ed?
No.
Oh, let me tell you the story. So I was broadcasting one broadcast on GCN, another broadcast on RBN, and RBN had asked me to do a pledge drive, to raise up some money to keep the network running. And so I didn't like doing that. And the owner of the John Statmiller said, we're doing a pledge drive today. And, I said, oh, man, I really don't like doing that. So I said, I'll tell you what, I'll do it, but I will match dollar for dollar up to $1,000. And that's when I had a little bit more money than I have now for everyone who contributes, because I wouldn't ask them to do anything that I wouldn't do. But I need to know the name of the person and their phone number, because I'm going to call each person and say thank you. Well, pledge drive went off, and just fine. And so at the end of my on-air time, I called the front office of the network, and I asked for the names and numbers, and it just emailed them to me. And I got the names and numbers, and I started calling and saying thank you. This is Ed at User Site in North Carolina. He was so shocked that I called. He couldn't believe it. He just couldn't believe that, a guy who was on the radio would call him and say thank you. And so we were talking, and he explained that he was interested in buying a farm. And I said, well, next time you're in town, and this is, 1,000-mile trip. Next time you're around here, I'll show you around, tell you what to look for, and, we'll spend some time together. I'll tell you what works, what doesn't work, what to be careful of, and so forth. So, eventually he came out here to Missouri, and we spent a whole morning, and I showed him all kinds of farms and what to look at, and he was really grateful for that information. And we've been friends ever since. So he started it. He started it by contributing, and all I did was call and say thank you, and we've been friends. And he stayed at the farm, multiple times. He's been involved with the expos, and so he knows a lot of the the faculty from coming up to the expos and staying overnight here, and with other instructors. So that's Ed. He's a fabulous guy. Oh, I forgot. So he looked. This is after he contributed. He looked at my website and he said, "Vinny, we could use a little bit of help. Just let me tweak it. Just tweak it, just a little bit." What I got was a whole new website.
Well,
that's it.
Hopefully, I don't think he's going to have to redo my whole website, but he's going to polish it.
Yes, and that's right. That's all he has to do for yours. But mine was completely different. Mine needed a total rebuild or take down and rebuild, and that's what he did. So that's Ed. And in this line of thinking, Dr. Shealy, I believe that America is sinking. I believe we've lost our moral compass, and what I'm seeing is the lack of anyone we can really look up to on a national level. We don't have a Mickey Mantle or a Roger Maris or a John Fitzgerald Kennedy. We don't have anybody, even the race to the moon, the alleged race to the moon. We don't have anyone that we can focus on in a positive way that I can think of, that we can say that we are really, really proud to be Americans. What we've got is scandal after scandal after scandal, Hollywood scandals. We have Hillary, who is immune from obeying any laws, and that was proven yesterday. Who's got to be the most
crooked person who's ever run for president.
Mm-hmm. Right. And then we have Barry, who he can't tell the truth. I'm talking about Barry Soetoro, the guy who's at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue.
You mean the psychopathic, narcissistic Muslim?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, and
I know I've got to learn how to express myself, but
and his roommate, who some people think is a man. We really don't have anybody to look up to, and I think it is severely damaging to and has damaged our country, and maybe beyond repair. Maybe Donald Trump could be that person that we would look up to as a hero, but we're in a lot of trouble, and I'm wondering if impacts the health of Americans because we just aren't happy anymore.
Well, as you undoubtedly know, health has deteriorated steadily over the last 50 years. We were the healthiest we have been as a nation in 1965 when Medicare came in. And total medical expenses then were 4%. By 1970, they were 12%, and we were already unhealthier. Now they're approaching 20%, and we're far less healthy. In fact, I don't see how we can avoid civil war. I don't care which one's elected. I think both sides are so alienated that I think it'll be a near miracle or a miracle if we avoid a true civil war.
And in that light, we have some homework that I'd like to assign.
Good.
On Netflix, seriously, on Netflix, there's a video called Cuba. And there may be some more to the title. It's kind of a documentary about 1952 through 1957, the revolution in Cuba. And what it depicts is a few people are unhappy with the government, and the coalition builds and the revolution builds. And then Castro is involved, and Castro has got his revolutionaries in the mountains. And some others have their members in the city. So there's fighting going on, and Batista, who was ruling at the time, calls on his police, and then the police start, shooting people. And that's not enough. So then they call in the military. So then it's the police and the military against the revolutionaries. And it just goes to show how violent it has become. It can become, how ruthless the killing by the government, trying to maintain power at all costs is. The starvation and the just the terror involved all around when a revolution occurs. It is really, really frightening, and it's an eye-opener. So I suggest that, there are many of us who would love to see change. But I'll tell you what, a revolution is generally, I don't think it's ever been quick. I don't think it's ever been done in 20 minutes or 20 days or even 20 weeks. I think they last for, at least 4, 5, 6 years or more. Whenever they occur, they're bloody, lives are destroyed, families are destroyed, the economy is destroyed, and then the rebuilding occurs. And why does it happen? Because of the greed of a few at the very, very top. And if you look at why Americans are unhappy right now, well, it's Barry, his greed, and his endless vacations. You look at Hillary, she's above the law. If you look at the governor of the Commonwealth of Virginia, who allegedly accepted all kinds of bribes, and then you find out that, they were going to prosecute him, and then they decide, you know what, instead of prosecuting him with vigor, they say, you know what, we're going to make it tougher to prosecute from now on. So this guy gets off, and we look at these figures and say, they're above the law. One of the little people smokes a joint, which I don't approve of, but can go to jail for smoking a joint. But these guys are criminals at great extents and get away with it. Right.
To me, the idea of putting somebody in jail for smoking marijuana, which probably is not quite as dangerous as alcohol. Come on.
Yeah, and alcohol used to be legal, then it was illegal, now it's legal. Marijuana used to be legal, then it was illegal, and now in many places it's legal. These guys can't make up their minds. Dr. Shealy, when we come back, I'm talking about people who are in charge of telling us what to do, can't make up their minds. They're a bunch of defectives, as we call them. When we come back, I'd like to share with you lunch in jail, breakfast in jail, and dinner in jail. Class, I'm a survivalist, and my plan is to be independent of everything that I can so that supply chain disruptions have a minimum impact on our family. What's the first thing that you do when the power goes out? I've researched the best value solar energy system that I can find, one that's backed by the technical support necessary for the undertaking. The system's installed and is generating electricity right now with equipment purchased from IronEdison.com. You heard Brandon Williams, CEO of IronEdison.com, right here on USA Prepares. Together, we designed our system. In my opinion, our IronEdison.com system has more features, more value, and more potential than any other system I found. We chose the Snyder Electric system with a hybrid inverter, charge controller, power panel, battery disconnect, and the system control panel. If you want energy independence, as we have, please consider calling the engineering team at IronEdison.com, 720-432-6433, 720-432-6433.
Are you worried about your mom or dad living alone in their house? Hi, I'm Joan London. Listen, I know how difficult it is to find senior care for someone you love. That's why I recommend a free service called A Place for Mom. They are the nation's largest senior living referral service. Call A Place for Mom today.
To receive free information on senior living communities in your area, call A Place for Mom at 1-800-704-6182.
A Place for Mom offers free one-on-one advice from local advisors and a personalized list of senior living communities you can visit. If you have questions about senior care for your mom or dad, there's a place for answers, A Place for Mom.
Call A Place for Mom in the next 10 minutes to get your free ebook on financing senior care as well as free information on senior living communities in your area. Call 1-800-704-6182. That's 1-800-704-6182.
Are you living your passion? Are you pumped to go to work because you get to talk about or work with or do the things that interest you the most? Is working, playing, and relaxing one and the same? As long as you're working for someone else, you'll never be living entirely true to yourself and your passion. I'm Pharmacist Keith. Let me show you how you can work around your current schedule, create the extra income so you can live your passion. Visit radio.recordedvideo.com. That's radio.recordedvideo.com. radio.recordedvideo.com.
Dangerous blood clot device alert. If you or a loved one had an IVC filter placed to prevent blood clots from traveling to your heart or lungs and suffered an injury, you may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. The FDA warns that IVC filters may cause serious complications, such as heart or lung damage, internal bleeding, and even death. These dangerous blood clot devices can break, and the metal fragments can travel to your heart or lungs, causing serious injuries. If you or a loved one suffered organ damage or other injuries from an IVC filter, you may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. Act now. Time is limited to file a claim. For a free consultation and free information, call Injury Help Desk at 800-478-1507. 800-478-1507. 800-478-1507. This is an advertisement. Paid non-attorney spokesperson. InjuryHelpDesk.com is responsible for this advertisement. Principal office, Las Vegas, Nevada.
The best kept secret in the firearms business is CDNNsports.com. CDNN Sports is the largest firearms liquidator in the U.S. We've got optics, accessories, gun parts, magazines, ammunition, and more. Sign up for our email specials today for the best gun deals, period. You will also be entered to win a Winchester 101 field shotgun. Go to Charlie, Delta, Novembersports.com. That's CDNNsports.com.
Dr. Norman Shealy is with us, medical doctor, and his website is normshealy.com, NORMSHEALY.com. Dr. Shealy is with us every Wednesday for 2 hours. Dr. Shealy, just as an aside, headlines yesterday and today in the largest print possible on the Drudge Report. And there's a picture of Hillary the liar. And she's at the presidential podium. The presidential seal is in front of her. It says President of the United States, or seal of the President of the United States. And then below, in very large letters, laws are for little people. Laws are for little people. And this is obviously about the email scandal. The point I'm trying to make is there's nobody to call. You can't call the FBI, you can't call the police, you can't call the sheriff, you can't call anybody. There's nobody to call. And if you do call 911, they're going to show up with guns and somebody's going to get shot or arrested. So in the United States of America, there's nobody to call. There's no accountability. These guys are running roughshod over us, and I think that's a major part of the stress that people are feeling. And maybe, Dr. Shealy, that civil war is right around the corner. If she is selected and if she is approved for the presidency, the villagers will realize that they've been had again. And maybe that's the last straw. And so maybe we will get the chance to see what happened in Cuba right here in the United States of America, on the streets of our cities and towns, when the people go ballistic because their voice doesn't count.
Well, it's fascinating to me because, it just seems impossible that there could be that many people so stupid. And yet, the major reason that many people are so stupid, I would guess that 2/3 to 3/4 of those voting for her will be on the public dole. Sure.
I remember the day that one of our instructors brought one of his friends over to the house. I don't think you've ever met this. You know the instructor, but you don't know the person he brought over. And this person was glowing, talking about Obama and how great he is and how great the economy is. I just couldn't believe it. And at that moment, after listening to this man at our kitchen table for a while, I decided that I am not going to allow people to come into our house who are voting for a regime that wants to hurt, steal, and steal from us. So what I'm saying, Dr. Shealy, is, people say, yeah, he's such a great guy, but he loves Obama. He's a really good guy, but he loves Obama. Well, how can that person who is supporting a regime that wants to steal from us be my friend? So I've decided, Dr. Shealy, I've decided to burn bridges. Someone who wants to support someone who wants to harm me and my family and people like us, those are not our friends. I don't want anything to do with them. So I've burned some of those bridges, and now I'm getting accused of burning bridges. Well, why the heck would I want to have a bridge to something like that? Why would I want to have a bridge to someone who trashes some of our broadcasts? Why would I want to have a bridge to someone who wants to attack our instructors? I don't. Dr. Shealy, you don't know this, but one of our instructors was attacked by another broadcaster. And that broadcaster and I were on the same radio network. As a matter of fact, I was on his network. Our broadcast was on his network. And when our instructor was attacked, I said, take us off your network. We want nothing to do with you. I am willing to burn bridges like that, Dr. Shealy, because I don't want a bridge to some place that's harmful to us.
I'm with you. Every once in a while I get an email from somebody in which they say, I can only send this to certain friends. Well, I don't have on my mailing list enemies.
Yeah, right. That's how I feel. But literally, what I have done is I've disconnected from a radio station, a 50,000 watt radio station. I've disconnected from that because I don't want to be associated with people who are attacking us. I will not do it. I won't do it. So Mike Parsons is out of prison, out of jail, and for a little over a week now. And he was telling me about the gourmet servings that they get in jail. And when we come back, I'd like to share with you the portions and what they're eating, and I'd like to get your opinion on that, because I believe these people are being starved in prison, and I know they're being tortured. We'll talk a little bit about that when we come back.
So you've got to take a state construction license exam or certification. Can't decide on what books or what chapters to study? Discover right now how you can eliminate unnecessary books and wasted study time. At contractorexam.com, our study materials zero in on state-required test topics in an effective, multiple-choice format. So whether you're a plumber, electrician, general contractor, or other construction-related trade, contractorexam.com will help get you prepared. Visit us at www.contractorexam.com today.
Worried about lead, fluoride, and other contaminants in your drinking water? Get a ProPure with the Pro 1G 2.0 cleanable reusable filter and remove up to 200 contaminants. Drink water the way nature meant it to be. Clean, crisp, and refreshing. See the complete line of ProPure products, including the new ProMax shower filter. There's a ProPure for you. Visit your authorized ProPure dealer for details or ProPureUSA.com. That's ProPureUSA.com.
This is a healthcare alert from the Pain Relief Hotline. If you, a family member, or a loved one suffers from knee, back, shoulder, or ankle pain and have Medicare as your primary insurance, we've got great news. You don't have to suffer any longer. You can immediately qualify for a pain-relieving brace at little or no cost to you by calling our 24/7 Pain Relief Hotline at 866-389-0620. Delivery is free and all paperwork is handled for you. If you are on Medicare and have knee, back, shoulder, or ankle pain, don't wait. You can qualify to immediately receive a pain-relieving brace at little or no cost by calling our 24/7 Pain Hotline now at 866-389-0620. Our representatives are standing by 24/7 to take your call and rush you your pain-relieving brace at little or no cost to you. Shipping is free and all paperwork is handled for you. Just call 866-389-0620. That's 866-389-0620. Again, 866-389-0620.
In the 1950s, Dr. Joanna Budwig had a 90% success rate curing people of cancer using fresh pressed flax oil and cottage cheese. The combination of dairy protein with unoxidized flax oil was able to restore oxygen transfer. It is now well known the cells of our bodies require unoxidized omega-3 and 6 seed oils to both attract and absorb oxygen. For the first time, there are seed oils with virtually zero oxidation even after 1 year at room temperature. All other, quote, cold-pressed seed oils are structurally damaged and significantly oxidized by the time you consume them. Andrea's seed oils retain the correct shape, electron content, and information that is quickly communicated to all the cells in your body. By taking these sacred seed oils, your whole body will begin to use oxygen as the Creator designed it. Now combine this with our Life Force Enhanced One World Whey protein, and you have a winning combination to confer energy and health like never before. Call 888-988-3325 or visit sacredseedoils.com. That's sacredseedoils.com.
To a professional trader in precious metals, the key is spot price. Spot price is market price, what gold or silver actually costs on the exchange. Regular people looking to invest never get spot price because resellers add fees for everything. Refining, minting, brokerage costs, commissions. The public is never offered spot price until now. In a limited new customer outreach, JM Bullion offers you the chance to own a 10-ounce bar of pure silver at spot price. No fees, commissions, markups, not even a shipping cost. Now, through JM Bullion, own the most real investment of all at real cost. Not a piece of paper from Wall Street or a bank. A 10-ounce bar of silver at spot price. That's a solid investment. But you must act now. Go online to realpricesilver.com for this limited time offer. That's realpricesilver.com. realpricesilver.com. Limit one offer per household, 50 United States only.
Did you know that a dirty CPAP system can make you sick? If you knew what could be growing in your mask and hose, you might not sleep so well. But now, SoClean.com has released the world's first and only automated CPAP cleaner and sanitizer. It kills 99.9% of all CPAP germs, and it's completely hands-free. For a limited time, you can try SoClean risk-free for 30 days. Just call 1-800-952-2797.
SoClean changed the CPAP experience for the better. My health has improved. It's simple to use, and I'm not worried about infections.
SoClean destroys CPAP bacteria, viruses, and germs, and it eliminates the daily hassle of washing your system by hand. There's no water, chemicals, or disassembly. Just pop in your mask, close the lid, and presto! Your CPAP system is clean and fresh in minutes. Call SoClean.com to try it risk-free at home for 30 days. This is a limited time offer, only available by calling 1-800-952-2797. That's 1-800-952-2797.
Dr. Norman Shealy is with us, and Dr. Shealy, Mike Parsons, USA Preparedness instructor, has just been recently released from jail. He ran for office, won in Tipton County, Tennessee. They decided they couldn't have him in office because he was going to expose the corruption and stop the corruption. So the Good Old Boy Network decided they would do whatever's possible to stay in power, just like Batista in Cuba did. And so he was on the air with us yesterday talking about the food, or that's in quotes, by the way, the servings that are provided for those in jail in Tennessee. And so I asked him, so what's it like? So for breakfast, here's what happens. They get 2 biscuits. Now, these biscuits, if you were to take your thumb and your forefinger and make a circle with it, that's a little bit smaller than the biscuit would be, but not much. So you get 2 of those. You get 2 teaspoons. That's not tablespoons. That's teaspoons of grits. 1.5 teaspoons of eggs. And 1.5 teaspoons of gravy. That's what the prisoners get for breakfast, Dr. Shealy.
Well, that sounds almost like the average American diet. Maybe 2 or 3 times that much, but junk. Mostly.
Right. Let's talk about lunch. No green leafy vegetables, no fruit. Everything they get is processed. A lot of beans. There's no such thing as a kosher meal. They get turkey once a week. They get no salt, no sugar, no pepper. They get very, very small portions. For dinner, they will get bologna on 2 slices of wheat bread. That's dinner. Now, these are, as far as I can tell, concentration camp rations. They get hot dogs, maybe once a week. They get processed food, Dr. Shealy, and what's happening is the prisoners have no energy. No, and Mike Parsons lost an enormous amount of weight, in the months that he was there. So he tried to get vitamins, minerals, supplements, and they were denied to him. I guess what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to ring the bell that if these, not everybody in prison is guilty of a crime. As a matter of fact, he was sent there by a judge who demanded that Mike Parsons answer the judge's questions. And Mike Parsons said, I'll tell you how I plead if you tell me what kind of court this is. Just tell me what kind of court it is, and I'll be glad to respond. And the judge said, okay, you're going to jail. So he spends 5.5 months in jail, just trying to figure out how to respond to the judge. This is the kind of stuff that goes on. So, Dr. Shealy, is it possible to eat processed food without leafy green vegetables, without vitamins, minerals, and supplements?
I'm not
and
sure
be healthy?
it's possible to process them adequately, even if you do get the goodies. It's junk. And so my suspicion, and I don't know the details, but my suspicion is that a minimum of half the people in jail should not be there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Mike said that if you take out drugs, if you take the word drugs out of the equation, he would be the only one in jail at that point, because it's either theft for money to buy drugs, or selling drugs, or using drugs, or something related to drugs. If you take out drugs, he's the only one that would be in jail, because he's the only one that was not involved in drugs. He was just sent there so that he could have several months to think about how he would respond the next time he was brought to court. But the point I'm trying to make is we have concentration camps in the United States of America, and they're called private jails and private prisons, and there doesn't seem to be any oversight. And people are being starved. And I don't like it. I don't like the death penalty. I don't think the government should be involved in deciding whether someone is going to be killed by the government, by a government minion or not.
Well, I agree. I don't think we as people are smart enough to know when somebody should be killed. Period.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I was reading a story about fireworks. And a lot of Americans love fireworks on Independence Day. And here's what, let me just read this, the headlines to this. It's USA Today. Are July 4th fireworks bad for the environment? That's the question. And then there's a little paragraph that says, from the gunpowder that fuels their flight to the metallic compounds that color their explosions, fireworks often contain carcinogenic or hormone-disrupting substances that can seep into the soil and water, not to mention the lung-clogging smoke that they release, the plastic debris that they scatter. It goes on to say, in addition to gunpowder, the fireworks are packed with heavy metals and other toxins that produce a sparkling shower of colors. And strontium is used, and that colors the fireworks red, and the strontium compounds dissolve in water and move deep into the soil, and radioactive strontium has a half-life of 29 years, and it can be dangerous to your health. And aluminum is the color white in fireworks, and it's the most abundant metal in the Earth's crust. But they're saying that it can affect the lung and the brains at higher concentrations. Copper is the blues, and the most noted health effect of dioxin exposure is severe skin disease with acne-like lesions on the face and upper body. But dioxin doesn't stop there. The World Health Organization has identified it as a human carcinogen. And it's a hormonal disruptor. And then there's barium, that's green, And fish and other aquatic organisms can accumulate barium, which means it can move through the food chain. And then there's rubidium, that's purple, and it's one of the most abundant elements on Earth. It burns purple, it melts at liquid at 104 degrees Fahrenheit. It's highly reactive with water, capable of igniting fires even below the freezing point, and I don't think they're really sure exactly what it does. And then there's cadmium. So here we have some of the materials that are used.
The play isn't bad.
Yeah. So, I'm thinking, when I was very young, living on the East Coast, there were these barges that were brought out to the sea, and fireworks were lit from these barges. And the idea was, if there's a fire, well, at least it'd be over the water. But so the fireworks were over the water, and the fallout was over the water. And I'm wondering if the accumulation of all of these fireworks, all of the years, and all the contamination of the water and soil, is it worth it? Is it worth it? And what are your thoughts about? Well, and then there's sulfur, right, from the gunpowder that burns.
Well, I am guilty.
We're all guilty. We're all guilty.
Thought about it because it's always been, since I was a tiny child, one of my favorites.
Sure.
And I buy 5 or more of the huge, finales when we have a party. So, I put about 500 shots into the air. Oh, dear.
I've been there.
I've got to rethink my fireworks.
Well, Dr. Shealy, it's like a tradition, and I think we all need to rethink it. But we're not told. There's no label that I know of that says, "Do not inhale this. Do not ignite it. Do not send your fireworks over grass that the cows will eat. Do not send it over the water where the fish swim. Do not send it over the ponds that are drinking water for animals and so forth." There's no warnings on this that I know of, other than the warnings to say, don't hold this in your hand.
Right.
My concern.
Oh boy.
My concern is, and there are plenty of people that lose limbs, eyes, limbs, fingers, hands, during these fireworks displays. I mean, things go wrong. People get drunk. People do stupid things with matches and fireworks and alcohol simultaneously, and the outcomes are not always good. So, I mean, there's always, every year there's stories about children losing fingers, fathers losing fingers, hands, limbs, dying, explosions. But my concern is about the after effects, after the explosions take place, after the showers of sparkly things coming down off the sky take place. My concern is downstream, downwind, food chain, and so forth. So, copper. We need copper, but we don't need an overdose on copper. Same thing. Barium and strontium. Dangerous, Dr. Shealy?
Yeah. Well, I mean, we are one of the most toxic. Well, the whole world is toxic now because, by the time we release something in the air here, within 24 hours or less, it's on the other side of the world.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I am convinced that, for instance, back 100 years ago, or maybe 90 years ago, when such things were beginning to be set as a recommended daily allowance of minimum daily intake, that we need probably 10 to 20 times as much now of the basic B vitamins as we did then. I've seen a couple of people with severe vitamin B deficiency in the last year. That's because they don't take a good multivitamin. And in fact, the so-called one a day that just gives you the minimum daily allowance is not worth taking. You need maybe 25 milligrams of B complex just to keep from being B deficient, which is essential for your whole nervous system, among other things.
And what about stress? Is that something that we should be taking if we're stressed at work? Let's talk about that when we come back.
Right.
Class, I'm a survivalist, and my plan is to be independent of everything that I can so that supply chain disruptions have a minimum impact on our family. What's the first thing that you do when the power goes out? I've researched the best value solar energy system that I can find, one that's backed by the technical support necessary for the undertaking. The system's installed and is generating electricity right now with equipment purchased from ironedison.com. You heard Brandon Williams, CEO of ironedison.com, right here on USA Prepares. Together, we designed our system. In my opinion, our ironedison.com system has more features, more value, and more potential than any other system I found. We chose the Snyder Electric system with a hybrid inverter, charge controller, power panel, battery disconnect, and the system control panel. If you want energy independence, as we have, please consider calling the engineering team at ironedison.com, 720-432-6433, 720-432-6433.
Looking for that edge during those intimate moments? We see many ads for enhancement, but the side effects include death. At GCN Team, we should change the Healthy Body, Brain, and Heart Pack to the Healthy Libido Pack. The brain and heart are not the only organs that require a healthy vascular system. For proper blood flow at the right moment, go to gcnteam.com or call 877-878-4203. That's 877-878-4203. That's 877-878-4203.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug-out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of slingbow, a new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
Sciatica, lower back pain, hip pain, poor posture. If you suffer from any of these problems, get ready to relax. Introducing an amazing product that's been in the market for over 25 years, the Sacro Wedgie. It was invented by a football coach using a common-sense osteopath technique. He created this device to help his athletes by isolating and supporting the sacrum, which is the keystone of our anatomy. This wedge-shaped bone is in the center of our hips, where a lot of pain starts. Simply relax 20 minutes daily on the amazingly simple Sacro Wedgie and let gravity do the work, helping muscles rebalance and start releasing nerves. Sit in the Sacro Wedgie at the computer or while traveling to help correct posture to finally help relieve those stubborn aches and pains for only $33.95. It's made in the USA, so click the family-owned website at sacrowedgie.com, spelled SACROWEDGY.com, or call 1-800-737-9295. That's 1-800-737-9295. Relax your back pain away with the Sacro Wedgie.
Are you worried about how dangerous the world has become? In these days of terrorist attacks, natural disasters, or even a future collapse, you need to be medically prepared to keep your family safe. I'm Joe Alton, MD of store.doomandbloom.net, where you'll find an entire line of uniquely designed medical kits and supplies for when help is not on the way. For everything from individual first aid kits to the ultimate family medical bag, go to store.doomandbloom.net today. That's store.doomandbloom.net. You'll be glad you did.
Paid non-attorney spokesperson. Injury Help Desk is responsible for this advertisement. Principal office, Las Vegas, Nevada. This ad is not legal advice, and the choice of a lawyer should not be based solely upon advertisement. Services may not be available in all states. Attention prescription antibiotic drug users. Have you or a loved one suffered an aortic dissection, aortic aneurysm, or abdominal aortic aneurysm after taking the prescription antibiotic drugs Levaquin or Avelox? These popular antibiotic drugs have been prescribed more than 80 million times since 2004, and medical studies show an increased risk of the following injuries: aortic dissection, aortic aneurysm, and abdominal aortic aneurysm. If you or a loved one used the prescription antibiotic drugs Levaquin or Avelox and suffered from aortic dissection, aortic aneurysm, or abdominal aortic aneurysm, you may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. Act now. Time is limited to file a claim. You may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. For a free consultation and free information, call Injury Help Desk at 800-823-3851, 800-823-3851, 800-823-3851.
KDArmor.com is your one-stop shop for the highest quality body armor, period. With packages starting at $169.99 and free shipping on every order. Why would you go anywhere else? KD offers rifle threat rated armor up to level 4. And now introducing trauma pads. Go to KDArmor.com and get your body armor today while you still can. Mention this ad and receive a free water filter for a limited time with any body armor package. Go to KDArmor.com. That's CATI Armor.com. Come and take it.
Dr. Norman Shealy, Dr. Shealy, I'm thinking about most people. They get up in the morning and, oh, no, I'm going to be late for work, and they race through. If they have breakfast, they race through whatever they got to do to get out the door, get in their car, and then they race to work because they're going to be late. Then they get to work, and then they sit in front of their computer screen, or they sit with customers, or they talk to customers, and all kinds of problems occur. Stress level just increases and increases all day until they take their first break and they can just relax for a few minutes. And then as the break starts to end, it's, oh no, I got to go back to work. The stress level increases, and then they're back to work, and then they look forward to lunch. And then coming back from lunch, it's, oh no, I got to get back to work. I'm going to be late, more stress. And then it's stress until they get home and collapse. I think this is symptomatic of describes most people. What do we do about
right.
stress everywhere we go?
Yeah, the father of American medicine, over 100 years ago, talked about stress and illness. Compared to the stress in the early 1900s, I would say total stress, physical, chemical, emotional, and nuclear, is probably 10 times what it was 100 years ago. And we have somewhat accommodated to it, but to a greater or less extent, the marked deterioration in health over the last 50 years is, I think, the result of the cumulative increase in stress.
So what do we do?
Well, you do the best you can. My favorite word in the entire universe is detach. In other words, if I can change it, I will spend a heck of a lot of energy to try to make it change. If I know that I can't do anything about it, like in nuclear energy, next to politicians, I consider nuclear energy the most dangerous thing ever created. I don't feel as if I can spend my entire life and get it to change. Therefore, other than being aware of it and occasionally mentioning it, I don't waste my life energy allowing my mind to play broken records about it. I detach.
How about you? If I remember correctly, at your farm you have a copper pyramid. Is that true? Did I remember that correctly?
Well, that's true. I have explored a dozen different simple things for detachment. Now, you may remember a few months ago when I brought and did a little study at the meetup on the sapphire pouch. Yeah. Well, you remember that, interestingly, the people who got sapphire instead of sand had a 93% decrease in the symptoms of depression and anxiety. And the last time I was there, when you weren't back for one of them, one of the ladies came up and told me she had gotten off her antidepressant drugs just using that pouch. So we are beginning to explore the possibility of adding the piezoelectric benefits of crushed sapphire as a major stress reducer, because you don't have to think so much about it. It apparently helps you detach from stress.
What else can this piezoelectric effect do, Dr. Shealy, with the sapphire crystals? Now, class, what we're talking about is Dr. Shealy has this pouch, and it's a small pouch. If you wanted to put coins in it or tokens, American tokens, it might hold 6 or 7 quarters. Okay, right. That's the capacity of this leather pouch, and it has a leather strap that is attached to it that you can adjust the length of this pouch to where you want it to wear against your breastbone, so it goes around your neck and so forth. we come back, would you talk about how this was used, why we believe it works, what it can do, and also, when we come back, can you talk about the spiritual healing session you did at the meetup? I wasn't there for that. I'd love to hear how that worked, what it meant, what you did, and so forth. Okay, Dr. Shealy and I'll be right back. How many of you want to learn how to dig up bugs, worms, and raise crickets for food? Do you prefer to eat them dried and crunchy or while still alive? Well, you won't have to if you can defend your food supply from predators. You may want to get an AR-15 kit from guns80.com and build your own AR-15 rifle from a kit. If you can legally own a rifle, you can purchase this AR-15 kit. If you're handy, you can complete the rifle in about an hour. The kit comes with all the parts you're going to need to build your rifle, but you'll need a drill press. And survivalists need one anyway. The Guns80.com team purchased the same used floor-standing drill press that I have for $100. You can too. And when you're finished, you'll have a paperwork-free AR-15 rifle, a drill press, drill bits, and the knowledge to maintain your AR-15 rifle, all for less than you expect. So if you want a paperwork-free AR-15 parts kit like mine, visit Guns80.com, Guns80.com, and let the unprepared have our share of the bugs.
Attention backpackers on a budget. Why spend $80 to $300 to pump clean survival water? Introducing the Viba Water Pump Kit from Viba Outdoor Products. Super easy to use and super lightweight at only 6.5 ounces, the Viba Water Pump Kit provides high flow rate at 1 ounce per stroke, can be one-hand pumped, and is dependable and affordable at only $24.99. Filter not included. Get your Viba Water Pump Kit at viba-odp.com from Viba Outdoor Products.
Paid non-attorney spokesperson Adam Pulaski of the Pulaski Law Firm with principal office in Houston, Texas is the attorney responsible for the content of this ad. This ad is not legal advice, and the choice of a lawyer should not be based solely upon advertisement. Services may not be available in all states. Attention Xarelto users. If you or a loved one took Xarelto and suffered a serious bleeding event, you may be entitled to financial compensation. Xarelto is a popular prescription blood thinner used to prevent blood clots and protect patients from strokes. These serious bleeding events have led to numerous cases of hospitalization and even death. Phone lines are open 24/7. Call 800-261-0937. That's 800-261-0937.
Everyone all set? Cocked? Locked? Here we go. Hour number 2 of USA Prepares with Dr. Norman Shealy. I had some questions for Dr. Shealy, but Dr. Shealy, first we've got Kelly on the line in Victoria, British Columbia. Welcome, Kelly.
Hello.
Hi, Kelly.
Hi.
Hi there. Hi. I'm calling because I was diagnosed with MS 2 years ago, and I'm trying to make a decision about whether to go on medication. The neurologist is now suggesting that I go on Copaxone, and it's the first time medication's been suggested, and it's being suggested because 3 months ago I had optic neuritis and I lost vision in my left eye. So it's mostly come back, or it's about half come back and half has not come back. So I'm trying to make a decision about medication, and I have some mixed feelings about whether it's a good idea or not. I have taken your transcutaneous acupuncture course, Dr. Shealy, and right now what I've been trying to do is just clean up my diet and use energy work. And yeah, I'm wondering if you have any I don't know, any
Okay.
advice.
How old are you?
I'm 43.
And are you on any prescription drugs now?
No.
Well, my recommendation would be at the top of my list, no wheat of any kind.
Yes.
Wheat is contaminated with Roundup, which is one of the worst poisons in the world. Secondly, I would go on to a very strong health-enhancing, program. At the top of my list for someone like you would be castor oil suits every day for a month.
Did you say castor oil soup?
Yeah. You take a bath or shower, dry off, and you put a heavy dose all over your body from the bottom of your neck to your wrist and all the way down to your ankles, and put on an old sweatsuit and sleep in it. Okay. That is one of the greatest detoxifiers known.
Okay.
And you can reuse the suit for 4 or 5 days before you have to wash it, You're never going to use it for anything else again. You can somewhat wash it, but it'll never be normal. So you probably have to have 2 to switch off.
Okay.
But that is the thing is detoxify it that I know. Secondly, I think you need a very excellent B complex that is a minimum of all of the B1, 2, 3, 6, etc.
Okay.
Then I would use, in your situation, fire, air, and crystal bliss.
Okay.
Because those would sort of reactivate the DHEA to some extent, as well as the oxytocin, and help get rid of free radicals.
Okay.
How much do you weigh?
About 143.
Okay, then I would take vitamin D as in David 3, 50,000 units once a week, and K2, 15 milligrams a day. My youth formula, Dr. Shealy's youth formula, 4 a day, and Kyani Sunset, 3 a day. And then astaxanthine, 20 milligrams a day. I mean, that to me is a major immune strengthening approach.
Okay. And the castor oil soup, did you say every day?
Yeah, preferably.
Okay.
I mean, if you want to skip 2 days a week, if you're going to do it for at least a month, I wouldn't object to 5 days a week.
Okay.
It really needs to be, a fairly lengthy procedure.
Okay. I will do all that. And as far as my fear of not listening to what the neurologist is recommending, do you have any?
Well, again, I don't know a drug that I would consider good enough compared to the complications that I would take one.
Okay. Great. Thank you.
Kelly, don't go away yet, okay?
Okay. Yep.
I was reading an article, and I'll post this on our website right during the next break. And it says, How I Beat MS, 17 years after being diagnosed. This doctor is symptom-free, thanks to a simple 7-step plan. And I'd like Dr. Shealy to comment on this. So here's the plan, and it's very simple, and it absolutely dovetails with what Dr. Shealy just said. And here are the 7 steps according to the article to beating MS. Eat well. Give up meat, dairy, and other foods high in saturated fats in favor of a plant-based whole food diet with seafood supplemented by 20 to 30 I guess it says milliliters, but it can't be milliliters, a day of omega-3 fatty acids, ideally from flaxseed oil. Exercise regularly. Aim for 30 minutes a day, 5 days a week. Get enough sun and vitamin D. Top off with vitamin D supplements, which is what Dr. Shealy said as well. And if possible, up to 15 minutes of sunlight 5 times a week. Meditate to help control the stress, a trigger for MS relapses. Then it says protect your family. Relatives are at a high risk of contracting MS, and following this program can help prevent that. And it says medication, follow your doctor's recommendations. Dr. Shealy, what do you think about what this article summed up and said?
Well, I don't totally agree with giving it all meat. I think properly raised meat of any kind is good, and good seafood I consider good. So, but other than that, I agree with it totally.
Okay, and so, Dr. Shealy, you recommended vitamin D3, 50,000 units once a week, I believe, if I remember that, what you said correctly. And vitamin D is the sunshine vitamin, right?
That is correct. Now, if you could spend naked outside, a minimum of an hour or two a day, I think you could get enough. But otherwise, you're not going to get enough even outside.
So for those of us who would like to get adequate sunshine, T-shirt, with just our arms exposed, if we wear shorts, that's not enough, is it, Dr. Shealy?
Right. If you just are outside, you might in an hour get 1,000 units. Mm-hmm. If you're really exposed to the, face and arms. But the minimum for a person is 5,000 units a day for help.
Kelly, when we were younger, we were told to go out and get some sunshine. I mean, that's what we were told. Go out and get some sunshine.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are you getting enough sunshine?
Well, I could always get more, for sure.
Okay.
But I have another question around that, because I'm a bit confused around the. I've been reading some things that are talking about maybe it's kind of functional medicine, and Dr. Hyman and Perlmutter and Rawles talking about legumes creating inflammation, so cutting out legumes as part of the grains, as well as grains, I mean. And Dr. Shealy, do you have anything to say about that?
Unfortunately, the speed of your voice with your accent makes it very difficult for me.
Okay, I'll try again.
Asking,
I'm very slow talker. Go
she was
ahead.
asking about legumes, Dr. Shealy. Should she consume legumes?
If they're inflammatory.
I think legumes in general are good if your intestines like them. Some people have a lot of gas with legumes, but other than that, they are an excellent food.
Okay.
And her concern was because they may be cause inflammation, Dr. Shealy.
Well, everything can cause inflammation depending on the person. And I think, interestingly, at the University of Kentucky years ago, their recommended diet for diabetics, which have a lot of inflammation, was a heavy legume diet. So, it's hard to pin things down like that down. Again, I wouldn't eat a pound of legumes a day, but a 4-ounce serving is certainly okay, I think.
Okay. Great. I can't think of any other questions I have.
I'm sorry?
Kelly, may I ask, she can't think of anything else, she said. Kelly, how did you hear about us here at USA Prepares?
I think Dr. Shealy's newsletter.
Great. Okay. All righty. Well, if you have any other questions, feel free to call back. Dr. Shealy's on the air with us every Wednesday.
I will. Great.
Our plan is to help you as best we can.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Kelly.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Dr. Shealy, we were talking about how the piezoelectric effect works, the sapphire crystals hung around your neck, and how to program them.
Okay. Well, way back in 1988-89, I did a study with 200 people with chronic depression. And we used quartz crystal because of its piezo. And by the way, I used to call it piezo. I now call it piezo, and I'm not sure of the pronunciation. But piezoelectric effect is a substance which converts pressure into electricity. And interesting is that pressure can be word, thought, or, physical pressure. And we got superb results. 70% long-term relief of depression in those that got quartz versus 28% versus glass. So we'll talk about that.
Hold that thought. We're coming right back. Class, I'm a survivalist, and my plan is to be independent of everything that I can so that supply chain disruptions have a minimum impact on our family. What's the first thing that you do when the power goes out? I've researched the best value solar energy system that I can find, one that's backed by the technical support necessary for the undertaking. The system's installed and is generating electricity right now, with equipment purchased from ironedison.com. You heard Brandon Williams, CEO of ironedison.com, right here on USA Prepares. Together, we designed our system. In my opinion, our ironedison.com system has more features, more value, and more potential than any other system I found. We chose the Snyder Electric system with a hybrid inverter, charge controller, power panel, battery disconnect, and the system control panel. If you want energy independence, as we have, please consider calling the engineering team at ironedison.com, 720-432-6433, 720-432-6433.
To a professional trader in precious metals, the key is spot price. Spot price is market price, what gold or silver actually costs on the exchange. Regular people looking to invest never get spot price because resellers add fees for everything: refining, minting, brokerage costs, commissions. The public is never offered spot price until now. In a limited new customer outreach, JM Bullion offers you the chance to own a 10-ounce bar of pure silver at spot price. No fees, commissions, markups, not even a shipping cost. Now, through JM Bullion, own the most real investment of all at real cost. Not a piece of paper from Wall Street or a bank. A 10-ounce bar of silver at spot price. That's a solid investment. But you must act now. Go online to realpricesilver.com for this limited time offer. That's realpricesilver.com. realpricesilver.com. Limit one offer per household, 50 United States only.
Attention backpackers on a budget. Why spend $80 to $300 to pump clean survival water? Introducing the Viba Water Pump Kit from Viba Outdoor Products. Super easy to use and super lightweight at only 6.5 ounces, the Viba Water Pump Kit provides high flow rate at 1 ounce per stroke, can be one-hand pumped, and is dependable and affordable at only $24.99, filter not included. Get your Viba Water Pump Kit at viba-odp.com from Viba Outdoor Products.
Are you worried about your mom or dad living alone in their house? Hi, I'm Joan London. Listen, I know how difficult it is to find senior care for someone you love. That's why I recommend a free service called A Place for Mom. They are the nation's largest senior living referral service. Call A Place for Mom today.
To receive free information on senior living communities in your area, call A Place for Mom at 1-800-704-6182.
A Place for Mom offers free one-on-one advice from local advisors and a personalized list of senior living communities you can visit. If you have questions about senior care for your mom or dad, there's a place for answers, A Place for Mom.
Call A Place for Mom in the next 10 minutes to get your free ebook on financing senior care as well as free information on senior living communities in your area. Call 1-800-704-6182. That's 1-800-704-6182.
The best kept secret in the firearms business is CDNNsports.com. CDNN Sports is the largest firearms liquidator in the U.S. We've got optics, accessories, gun parts, magazines, ammunition, and more. Sign up for our email specials today for the best gun deals, period. You will also be entered to win a Winchester 101 field shotgun. Go to Charlie, Delta, Novembersports.com. That's CDNNsports.com.
So, Dr. Shealy, you had these bags of crushed sapphire crystals. You've experimented with quartz crystals, and you programmed them with sound pressure, which is just speaking the thoughts that you wanted to have as an outcome. Correct?
Actually, you do it silently with thought.
Okay.
Hold it in your hands, and you give a short, positive image and, 7 words or less phrase that you intend to be in that imprinted sapphire. And by the way, sapphire is stronger than quartz in its piezoelectric effect. So that's why we chose it. And crushing it, of course, increases the surface area.
So when these crystals were, we'll call it programmed, what do you know the type of requests, positive thoughts, if you will, that those in the study had
suggested that
did they share that with you?
It suggested that they use something related to stress reduction, like calm, relaxed, at peace. That would be a wonderful thing to imprint into.
Okay. And what did they say happened?
Well, I had them fill out a total symptom score, which is 4 full pages of every known symptom people can have. And we looked at the total symptoms as well as the first page, which is, like over 25 symptoms, all of which are depression and anxiety. And so they measured that originally, and we measured that at 1 week later. And in 1 week, the anxiety depression score decreased 93% for those who got the sapphire. Interestingly, it decreased 50% for those who got sand, but that's because the people knew me. I'm not a stranger to them. And that shows you the effect of placebo. Still a pretty strong placebo. 15 to 35% is more or less average.
Are you surprised, Dr. Shealy, through your experiences, through not just the meetup, but through people whom you have met in the last 5 years, at the amount of stress that people are under? Are you surprised at that?
What was amazing to me, the average person had more symptoms than my average patient. Maybe they were more honest. I don't know, but it was indeed surprising, and that is the reaction to stress. When you have more than 10 symptoms, you are experiencing stress, and when you got more than 20, you are very stressed.
And these are the people that were at the meetup that had more stress than your average patient?
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
Now, remember, they did volunteer, and it is entirely conceivable that those people who had the greatest stress were more likely to volunteer.
Okay. Now, you did something that I was not present for. You did a spiritual healing. Can you tell us this segment and probably into the next segment? What happened?
Jady is a healer who does his healing basically with his mind and sometimes with his hands touching. And we had Moss here for 5 days, and among other things, we did EEGs before and during his sending healing. And he was in a room next door, not in the room with the person. And we did the EEG baseline for 20 minutes and then 20 minutes of healing. 17 of the 20 had remarkably striking EEG changes. I'm talking about revolutionary changes. So we know that, whatever he was doing mentally had a significant effect on the EEG of the person. And so we were talking about this whole thing of spiritual healing, which I've actually worked with since 1972 when I met the great Olga Worrell, one of the most studied healers, the most studied healer in all of history. And I have 15,000 letters from patients who wrote to Olga about their healing experience. So we do have this. This is another of these totally difficult things to understand. Obviously, it doesn't work in everyone. Nothing does. But to see a cancer disappear within weeks with no treatment other than spiritual healing can be pretty miraculous.
Let's talk a little bit more about that when we come back. Dr. Norman Shealy is with us.
KDArmor.com is your one-stop shop for the highest quality body armor, period. With packages starting at $169.99 and free shipping on every order. Why would you go anywhere else? KD offers rifle threat rated armor up to level 4. And now introducing trauma pads. Go to KDArmor.com and get your body armor today while you still can. Mention this ad and receive a free water filter for a limited time with any body armor package. Go to KDArmor.com. That's CATI armor.com. Come and take it.
So you've got to take a state construction license exam or certification. Can't decide on what books or what chapters to study? Discover right now how you can eliminate unnecessary books and wasted study time. At contractorexam.com, our study materials zero in on state-required test topics in an effective, multiple-choice format. So whether you're a plumber, electrician, general contractor, or other construction-related trade, contractorexam.com will help get you prepared. Visit us at www.contractorexam.com today.
Paid non-attorney spokesperson. Injury Help Desk is responsible for this advertisement. Principal Office, Las Vegas, Nevada. This ad is not legal advice, and the choice of a lawyer should not be based solely upon advertisements. Services may not be available in all states. Attention prescription antibiotic drug users. Have you or a loved one suffered an aortic dissection, aortic aneurysm, or abdominal aortic aneurysm after taking the prescription antibiotic drugs Levaquin or Avelox? These popular antibiotic drugs have been prescribed more than 80 million times since 2004, and medical studies show an increased risk of the following injuries: aortic dissection, aortic aneurysm, and abdominal aortic aneurysm. If you or a loved one used the prescription antibiotic drugs Levaquin or Avelox and suffered from aortic dissection, aortic aneurysm, or abdominal aortic aneurysm, you may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. Act now. Time is limited to file a claim. You may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. For a free consultation and free information, call Injury Help Desk at 800-823-3851. 800-823-3851. 800-823-3851. Dangerous blood clot device alert. If you or a loved one had an IVC filter placed to prevent blood clots from traveling to your heart or lungs and suffered an injury, you may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. The FDA warns that IVC filters may cause serious complications, such as heart or lung damage, internal bleeding, and even death. These dangerous blood clot devices can break, and the metal fragments can travel to your heart or lungs, causing serious injuries. If you or a loved one suffered organ damage or other injuries from an IVC filter, you may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. Act now. Time is limited to file a claim. For a free consultation and free information, call Injury Help Desk at 800-478-1507. 800-478-1507. 800-478-1507. This is an advertisement. Paid non-attorney spokesperson. InjuryHelpDesk.com is responsible for this advertisement. Principal Office, Las Vegas, Nevada.
As a doctor, I see patients every day who are losing their vision and independence to age-related macular degeneration, also known as AMD. It's the leading cause of blindness in adults 55 and older. Some of us are at greater risk for AMD. If you have blurry vision or blind spots, they can be symptoms of AMD. If left untreated, it can lead to blindness. The good news? With early detection, AMD can be managed with effective clinically approved treatments that can reduce or even reverse some vision loss. Learning that you have AMD can be scary, but there's hope and help. The Foundation Fighting Blindness is researching and developing treatments and cures for AMD. To get your free AMD information packet, contact the Foundation Fighting Blindness today at 1-800-BLINDNESS. That's 1-800-BLINDNESS. Join the fight against AMD, because together there is a cure in sight.
My computer is so slow, it's making me crazy.
I used to have that problem.
Did you quit using a computer, or did you buy a new one?
No, I called Geeks On Site. They made an appointment to visit my home and showed up the same day.
You mean they didn't ask you to bring your computer to a shop? That's what happened when I called a support company.
Geeks On Site can go to your home or business or even repair your computer online. They have 24/7 emergency service.
If you are having problems with your PC or Mac, call Geeks On Site, 1-800-591-1682. Our friendly certified computer repair experts are available 24/7. Call now for a free diagnosis, 1-800-591-1682. Data recovery, virus removal, and maintenance for all laptops, desktops, printers, and networks. That's Geeks On Site for friendly certified computer repair experts, available 24/7 over the phone or in your home or business. Just call 1-800-591-1682. That's 1-800-591-1682. 1-800-591-1682.
Plus, I'm really sorry that I missed the presentation, the seminar that Dr. Shealy and Moss did about spiritual healing. I was not at that meetup. But Dr. Shealy, what we're talking about is healing, not even in the same room. No knife, no chemicals, no radiation, none of the typical things that modern medicine uses for treatment, right? And
You
you're
bet.
talking about that you measured a significant, remarkable, striking change in an EEG before and after with 17 of the 20 participants involved. Am I right in saying that?
You are right. Now, way back in the mid-'90s, I did 100 cases with another healer, and he was 60 feet away in a different room, 100 feet away in a different room. And he was able to change the EEG virtually 100% of the time.
Okay. Dr. Shealy, is there any involvement in the dark side with this? Because there are people who I believe feel, not me, but there are people who I believe feel that the occult is involved in this, the dark side. Can you address that?
Well, let's face it. There are always two sides of everything. You know, there are evil people and evil forces. Just think about Washington, D.C.
Sure.
But obviously, in general, I have never seen a healer who could actually get people well who had a dark side. Now, I have found, and not looking for it, but 6 people in my life where, as I'm working with them, I have encountered what I call a very dark negative force or demon. And I have had to do exorcisms. I didn't even, I sort of thought they might exist, but until the first one came, I wasn't expecting it. And the first one I did was a 42-year-old man who had been depressed all of his life. And after our single session, he was out of depression. He came back for another workshop 6 months later and was still out of depression.
Dr. Shealy, I'm somewhat speechless here. Because, and here's why. I'm listening very intently to what you're saying, and I'm also thinking about the day that you were here at the studio. You were with me, one of our dentist friends, and I don't remember if it was Thanksgiving or exactly what, Christmas, or we were all gathered here at the farm. Some of our senior instructors and gals and guys were here, and the gals were down in the kitchen, and some of the guys came up to the studio, and we were just kind of chatting, and the subject of past life regression. This was years ago. Past life regression came up, and I said to you, "Wow, I don't know anything about that. I've never heard about that." This was before you did that past life regression on me, and one of the people in the room, his face turned red. He put his hands up almost in a surrender position and left. And that was the last time that person was my friend. He distanced himself from me based on your discussion of past life regression and my interest in learning more about it.
Well, he's what I call a flaming fundamentalist, Vince. And flaming fundamentalists have no fun.
Do you remember that, Dr. Shealy?
Oh, yes, indeed I do. And I encounter that every once in a while. Rarely in my practice, because most people come there and are pretty open. But I have had 1 or 2 people come in, maybe half a dozen over the years, who don't want anything to do with me when I talk about past life therapy, which I've done hundreds and hundreds of.
I'm interested in everything. And I remember my dad, back in the 50s and 60s, and his brothers and sisters, the word the devil would be used, like the dark side, that's the devil's work or something like that. Now, to me, I'm interested in learning about everything. It doesn't mean I want to practice everything that I learn about, but I'm certainly open to learning about literally everything. And I literally, and correct me if I'm wrong, I don't remember during that discussion anything about the occult, devil worship, the dark side. Nothing like that even remotely occurred. And yet this person left our friendship, our circle of friends, because the topic came up of past life regression. And you did a past life regression with me. It was videoed, and I don't remember anything about the dark side even remotely entering the equation.
Well,
and it's not like, and I saw the video, so not only do I not remember it, it never happened.
Well, very few people are possessed by negative forces. There are some, obviously. The Catholic Church has had an official exorcist in a number of places over the years, and I didn't ever enter doing past life therapy to do exorcisms, but if I'm going to do that and I do encounter a negative force like that, I have to do something about it. I'm, morally responsible for helping that person get rid of it. And so I said, I've done 6 of them that I can remember. And they're fun because, I am, like the first one, literally, Vince, sort of psychically, I could see fangs and horns in the demon. And the demon did not want to leave. And I said, okay, fine. Then you go back to hell. You're going to burn in hell for the rest of your life because forever and ever, because you were not supposed to be found out. And so anyway, after 30 minutes, I finally got him to go to the light and left the man. And so that does happen, but it's extremely rare. That's out of many hundreds. So it's far less than 1 in 100 person that I've worked with who has that kind of possession. But the past life, it often helps people get rid of a major burden, something that left from a previous incarnation, left them angry, guilty, anxiety, or depressed at a soul level. Some of that carried through into the current life. And so by doing a past life therapy, I've had people get rid of long-standing depression or pain in 1 hour.
As you're talking about this, I'm thinking about the second coming of Christ. People are looking forward to that. Now, after the second coming of Christ, wouldn't we be able to look at that as, so tell us about your past life?
I would think so. I would think so. And remember that until 325, the Catholic Church included reincarnation. Constantine, the confab that he called together to create the New Testament, got rid of reincarnation, but for 300 years it had been there.
And I'm trying to figure out what it is that would cause people to think that looking at past life regression is the dark side, that looking at spiritual healing, which does not involve a knife or radiation or chemistry, as the dark side. What would cause someone to get that confused, Dr. Shealy? Because I know people who have gotten that confused.
Oh, yeah. Well, they were brainwashed by negativity. The hellfire damnation concept, which is still a part of a lot of basic fundamentalist Christian religions.
Dr. Shealy, I don't know if I've ever asked you this, but how do you feel about God? Is there a God? Is there what is it? What? See, I believe that there is.
I have a book coming out next May called A Physician's Encounter with Heaven. So obviously, I believe in divinity and a God force. Now, I don't have the foggiest idea what God is. I don't feel God as a human being. I see it as a phenomenal unifying power that somehow created and manages the universe.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I remember being in the driveway at our farm in Virginia, and Father Bob used to come over to our farm, and he was the priest of a Catholic church, 20 miles away. And we gave the Catholic Church a computer and supported the computer and so forth. So, he's a really nice man. And so he would come over to the farm, and so not only was he the priest of the church, but, we had a good personal relationship, our family and he did. And so one day we were in the driveway at our farmhouse, and he just pulled up, and I said, "So, Father Bob, is it possible that God is an alien?" and that he said, "So here you are. I've given you this place to live. I've given you everything you could possibly want. I've told you half of what you need to know. The rest you're going to have to figure out on your own. And let's see how you make a go of it, and I'll check back with you later, see how it all works out and how nicely you play with the others that are here. So what do you think?" He said, "Wow." He didn't know what to say. Now, I'm not saying that it was just, I guess it was an overwhelming question. And I don't think it's all that far-fetched.
I don't either.
Dr. Shealy, when we come back, would it be okay to talk about the pyramid in copper and what you learned?
Absolutely.
We'll be right back. Class, I'm a survivalist, and my plan is to be independent of everything that I can so that supply chain disruptions have a minimum impact on our family. What's the first thing that you do when the power goes out? I've researched the best value solar energy system that I can find, one that's backed by the technical support necessary for the undertaking. The system's installed and is generating electricity right now, with equipment purchased from IronEdison.com. You heard Brandon Williams, CEO of IronEdison.com, right here on USA Prepares. Together, we designed our system. In my opinion, our IronEdison.com system has more features, more value, and more potential than any other system I've found. We chose the Snyder Electric system with a hybrid inverter, charge controller, power panel, battery disconnect, and the system control panel. If you want energy independence, as we have, please consider calling the engineering team at IronEdison.com, 720-432-6433, 720-432-6433.
This is an alert. If your business or church is building this year, you're about to pay more than you should. This could mean thousands of dollars more for your office, retail space, church, or warehouse. A General Steel building can save you as much as half the cost and time of similar conventional construction. And we're offering rebates of up to $20,000 to help you build today. Call General Steel for free information that could save you thousands. Call 866-91-STEEL. 866-91-STEEL. 866-91-STEEL.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug-out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of Slingbow. A new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
This is a warning to all household pests, to all cockroaches, spiders, ants, rodents, and other pests. If you've just made yourself at home in someone else's home, you'd better hope the owners never hear about Terminix, because Terminix has the know-how and the means to do whatever it takes to remove you from that home. Terminix has over 85 years of experience exterminating invaders like you. And right now, they're making it easier than ever for homes to be protected by offering a free pest estimate to every caller at 1-800-676-1468. Cockroaches, spiders, ants, rodents, and other pests. This is your eviction notice. With one call, Terminix will remove you from the home you've invaded. If you think you can simply come back later, think again. Terminix will protect that home with a 100% satisfaction money-back guarantee, so you can never return. Warning, homeowners are calling Terminix right now for a free pest estimate at 1-800-676-1468. 1-800-676-1468.
Limitations apply. See plan for details.
Paid non-attorney spokesperson Adam Pulaski of the Pulaski Law Firm with principal office in Houston, Texas is the attorney responsible for the content of this ad. This ad is not legal advice, and the choice of a lawyer should not be based solely upon advertisement. Services may not be available in all states. Attention Xarelto users. If you or a loved one took Xarelto and suffered a serious bleeding event, you may be entitled to financial compensation. Xarelto is a popular prescription blood thinner used to prevent blood clots and protect patients from strokes. These serious bleeding events have led to numerous cases of hospitalization and even death. Phone lines are open 24/7. Call 800-261-0937. That's 800-261-0937.
Think about this. Your community's aging water infrastructure systems are very likely to be contaminated with heavy metals like lead, disinfection chemicals like ammonia, chlorine and chloramines, and pharmaceuticals like statins, pain meds, and antidepressants. And no, water treatment plants are not equipped to filter these pharmaceutical toxins out. Protect your family's water supply with the trusted Big Berkey water filter. New NSF EPA certified lab tests show Big Berkey water filters remove chloramines, pharmaceuticals, BPA, pesticides, bacteria, and viruses, all forms of fluoride, and much more. Big Berkey water filters are the original and most trusted on the market, the gold standard in water purification, and our filters last for years at less than 2 cents per gallon. Big Berkey, the one powerful enough to purify stagnant pond water. Get your Big Berkey today. Call 1-877-99-BERKEY or click BigBerkeyWaterFilters.com. That's 1-877-99-BERKEY. Big Berkey Water Filters, for the love of clean water.
By now you know that wireless technology like cell phones do in fact pose dangers to the health and privacy of everyone. Blockit Pocket's wide range of products are unmatched in providing the protection you deserve. No scare tactics, just common sense. BlockitPocket.com offers quality American-made options to alleviate and eliminate these invisible dangers. Learn more at BlockitPocket.com or call 888-315-9618. BlockitPocket.com, enhancing health and privacy.
Class Dr. Norman Shealy is with us. NormShealy.com if you'd like to sign up for the newsletter. NormShealy.com. Dr. Shealy's on the air with us every Wednesday from 9 a.m. through 11 a.m. Central Time. And broadcasts are rebroadcast, tape delayed, all day long, all over the country. AM, FM, satellite, YouTube, and Ron Gibson's channel on YouTube. Thank you so much, Ron Gibson. Dr. Shealy, the Copper Pyramid. So when I was at your facility in Missouri, I saw this huge copper pyramid. It was made out of what looked like to me copper pipe. What does it do? How does it work? And what have you found?
Well, it was made for meditation, but then if we connect that to a Tesla coil, which electrifies it, it produces at a billionth of a watt per centimeter square human DNA frequency, which is 52 to 78 billion cycles a second. So our very first regeneration of telomeres for human longevity was done in that copper pyramid with a Tesla coil hooked up. And if people would sit in that 30 minutes, 5 days a week, within 1 year, their average telomere regrew 3.5% instead of shrinking 1%. And because it is cumbersome, I switched after that to making a 2-inch thick copper a topper mattress that allows you to do it while you're sleeping. You put it on a timer while you're sleeping. So that was basically the beginning of my research on longevity.
Well, Dr. Shealy, a lot of people watch television, and everybody I know sleeps at some time, so why wouldn't that be like the perfect solution? Just and this.
Well, actually, the television wouldn't be very good if you turned on your Tesla coil in the same room, because it would cause a lot of static on the TV.
Okay.
It's only a billionth of a watt, but it's still
billionth of a watt.
It's very high frequency microwave.
Are there any negative effects of that frequency at that amount of power, that very, very, very small amount of power? Any negative?
Not to my knowledge. I've got, counting people who've done it just for a short period of time versus those who've done it for 2 to 5 years, certainly well over 150 people have been exposed to it by me, and they're in the Ukraine. When I was there, they had used these frequencies on over 200,000 people.
And were most of the results positive?
Oh, yes. Basically, I started by applying it to specific acupuncture points. In other words, that's what they do in the Ukraine. And they treated everything from peptic ulcers to high blood pressure and all kinds of things with applying it to specific acupuncture points. So that's how I developed my 5 rings. But then after discovering that I could rejuvenate DHEA, dehydroepiandrosterone, and calcitonin and reduce free radicals, that's when I came to the idea in 2005 that if we did that, it would rejuvenate the telomeres, and we have proven that unequivocally. I've got, counting the oil conversion, I've got 50 people that we now have shown you could regenerate telomeres 3.5% instead of shrinking 1% every year.
I was talking with Stephen Hewer of Synergistic Nutrition yesterday. I picked up the phone and I called him, and he came out with something very interesting. He just said right off the cuff, if you have a healthy gut, you can have a healthy brain. There's a link between a healthy gut and a healthy brain.
I agree.
Can you address?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So if you don't have a healthy gut, can you have a healthy brain?
No. You can't have a healthy body, period.
Okay, so probiotics, yogurt, quick steps to getting a healthier gut?
Indeed. And a lot of people, they need some tannin. And my favorite is one called Tanalbit, Tanalbit. It helps quiet down an irritated gut.
There we go. Dr. Shealy, thank you so much for all your assistance and all that you do for us here at USA Prepares. Class, above all, honesty and integrity. What happens next is up to you. How many of you want to learn how to dig up bugs, worms, and raise crickets for food? Do you prefer to eat them dried and crunchy or while still alive? Well, you won't have to if you can defend your food supply from predators. You may want to get an AR-15 kit from guns80.com and build your own AR-15 rifle from a kit. If you can legally own a rifle, you can purchase this AR-15 kit. If you're handy, you can complete the rifle in about an hour. The kit comes with all the parts you're going to need to build your rifle, but you'll need a drill press. And survivalists need one anyway. The Guns80.com team purchased the same used floor-standing drill press that I have for $100. You can too. And when you're finished, you'll have a paperwork-free AR-15 rifle, a drill press, drill bits, and the knowledge to maintain your AR-15 rifle, all for less than you expect. So if you want a paperwork-free AR-15 parts kit like mine, visit Guns80.com, Guns80.com, and let the unprepared have our share of the bugs.
Water is the single most important thing your body needs, so you want to be sure it's the best for you and your family. Since 2005, thousands have depended on Berkey purified water. The Berkey Guy provides the lowest priced filtration systems in every size. For incredibly delicious water now and in an emergency, get to GoBerkey.com or call 877-886-3653. 877-886-3653. GoBerkey.com.
Attention USA Prepares listeners. When you're on the road or have limited data or Wi-Fi, now you can listen to USA Prepares unfiltered and untapped at no extra charge on this non-federal phone number, 1-605-477-3249. Try it now to listen to USA Prepares 24/7 at no extra cost or data charges. These are not on federal lines. These are lines located on Indian reservations off the grid. Call 1-605-477-3249. No smartphones or internet needed. To hear USA Prepares untapped and off the grid, just call 1-605-477-3249.